Hello, welcome back to Call to Homeschool with me, Meg Thomas, your coach and guide, back here with another interview today with Krissa from Alabama, right?
Correct, yes.
Perfect. So, Krissa, tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive into the question today.
Okay, so I am a mom to 5, and I homeschool 2 of them, and the other ones are in public school. And I have currently 4 dogs at home, and I'm house training, and so that is going delightful.
I am not a big dog person, so my hat off to you. Okay, that's exciting. People think I'm anti-dog. I'm not anti-dog. I'm just pro you having a dog and not me having a dog.
That is how I was. And so I got this dog. My husband pretty much brought this dog home and was like, "So, we're going to get this dog." And I remember I cried like a big baby, like bringing home a newborn all over again because, like I said, we already have 5 kids. And so I was like, "I'm not ready for a dog yet." And he was like, "Well, I think we're going to do great with it. It's going to be awesome." And I was like, "Okay, yeah." So I cried like a big baby the whole time. And then whenever she got here, I loved on her, and now she is my dog.
Oh, there
And
you go.
then, yeah, and we did not get her fixed in time. And so we have puppies now. So puppies it is.
All right. Well, that's exciting. Exciting stuff in Alabama. Okay,
Yes.
so Chris's question was about her kids. So she, like she said, she has kids in public school and 2 kids homeschooled.
Mhm.
And so she used to homeschool all of them, correct?
Correct.
And then maybe 2.5 years ago, you gave them a choice and some of them chose to do public school.
Correct.
Let's see. And so they did really well their first year, but now I've noticed major changes in them, thinking that they just run the house and we are supposed to do as they want at all times. Seventh grade girl and ninth grade boy. The girl is partially due to her friend group this year, and the older boy is seeing her trying to get away with it and is trying to model the same. Giving us major pushback. They say they don't enjoy school anymore as far as learning goes. They only want to be there for their friends and experience. I'm wanting to pull them back out and homeschool them again as they aren't carrying public school well anymore. We have 2 younger kids, the ones you talked about, who are homeschooled. Trying
Mhm.
emotions to be a thought of pulling them and placing them back in home with us. I'm scared if I pull them, will they resist the homeschooling and hate me? How do I get over this feeling? Do I keep them in public school or pull them because I am mom and I can see that what they can't and just remind myself that they will thank me one day. Help. Any advice? Hey,
Yes.
do you have one already graduated then?
No, she's just littler. So,
Oh, okay, you have the younger one. Okay.
yeah.
I was wondering, I was like, "The math ain't mathin', honey." Okay, so we have a seventh grader and a ninth grader. So kinda tell me a little bit about what that is looking like with them, their attitude, all of these things.
So, like I said, they done really good the first year that they went back, and now this year, their attitudes have done like a complete turn. Um, so they're trying to just get away with like saying smart remarks and then like kind of thinking that it's funny, if that makes sense. Kind of like being a smart aleck, but thinking that it's funny. And so whenever I try to like correct them or redirect them, they are just very like, okay, well, okay. And I'm like, no, not okay. Like, what do I do? So it's been a struggle. And then one of them even said, well, I just know that if I just pressure you into something, then you'll just fall under pressure. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe is like that happening at school with like peer pressure. And maybe that's where she's learning that from. Like, okay, well, if I just hurry up and just do it anyways, then she'll just cave in under pressure. So I don't, and she wasn't that way before. So I'm like, maybe it's a peer thing. But the oldest one, the ninth grader, he is pretty much like seeing her do some of those things. And then he also tries to like wiggle his way into doing that as well. And then I'm like, no. And then he does a lot better at the correcting and redirecting. He's like, okay, yes, ma'am. but he's trying it. He's trying. So I
Okay.
don't know if that's just a girl thing, maybe.
Well, I mean, every kid's gonna come with their different personality because
Yeah.
sometimes an oldest one is more willing to be obedient because, like, oldest children, like, why would you ever disagree with mom and dad, right?
Mhm.
So there are some things like that. It could be she's more of a rebellious personality. She's also second born. I mean, there's so many whys that we could get into that. But let's talk about so if you bring him home, it may fix some things, but it could also break something else.
Mhm.
As they are a little bit older. So have you talked to them about possibly bringing them home to homeschool them?
Have, and the older one, the ninth grader, he's just kinda chill about it. That might just be a boy thing, I'm not for sure, but, he's pretty chill about it, in the aspects of saying that it's like, "Okay, but I might miss some things," or, "Okay, but can we still do this?" or, "Okay, but can we still do that?" So he's kind of, like, okay with it either way.
Okay.
Um, and then the 7th grader, she is just like, "No, absolutely not." So, and whenever I ask her why, she says, "Because I'll just miss all of my friends." And I'm like, "Well, you can still see your friends." Because right now, we're having to put boundaries in with her friends anyways, because it's one of those, we're giving her an inch and she's taking like a whole mile. So I'm already having to put boundaries in place with her friends right now. So I feel like if I just completely rip her away from them, it's only going to make matters worse. Um, so I don't know how to give little inches to where she's not
Yes.
taking the full mile. So,
Okay. So if I were coaching somebody who had just had elementary kids,
mhm,
I would probably say just bring them home and deal with it, right? Because they are a little bit younger, and they are a little bit easier to work with.
mhm,
With teenagers, they're really starting to figure out who they are, what do they believe in, what do they stand for, and so you may have more pushback. Now, there's books, there's the peer Parents Need to Matter More Than Peers by Dr. Gordon Neufeld, right? And
mhm,
where it really is like society is kind of okay with that children are being led by their peers instead of their parents. So, it may be a big shock to her system of bringing her home, ripping off the Band-Aid, doing these types of things. And so if you really trusted your gut, that is the homeschool the solution, or is it a parenting issue? Is it also a school issue? Like, what does your gut tell you is the big issue of things going on with your kids?
school.
School? Okay.
School. And I say that because whenever we had put her back in school and all the way up until pretty much even throughout the summer and everything, she would always tell me, "Mom, I don't understand why my friends are all like depressed. Why are they all depressed? Why are they all like just so sad all the time?" Like, and so whenever I tried explaining that to her, um, which could be different lifestyles and all the things. So, whenever we had that topic, but now it's almost like she is kind of falling off into that as well. So I feel like it's just what she's surrounded by, if that makes sense.
Yes. Okay.
Because yeah,
So as the parent, you still get the final say, right? But we
hmm,
want to be careful because a teenager will run away.
hmm,
And so we are doing a little bit of a dance here and whatnot of working with them. And so if you're a ninth grader, it's more you've talked to him and you're like, hey, I'm not loving some of these things. And he's like, that's fine, but I still want to do this or I still want to do this. And you're working together. I would just pull him out. The
okay,
seventh grader, you may need to work with her a little bit more of like, ultimately, I can pull you out. I mean, you don't wanna come in with a power trip because then you're gonna be butting heads, but, like, in your heart, you can legally, right? Like, she's a minor. So this is where working with her of and I don't know the laws with Alabama. Can you do part-time school in Alabama?
only in high school if you're with a sport. So, like if you're playing a sport, then you have to go in high school for X amount of whatever.
Okay. But you
So,
can't choose, like in Utah, I could legally put my kid in a couple classes at the high school and then homeschool the rest. You can't do that.
no, ma'am.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of. I should say that.
Okay. And you may want to even check with the district or the high school and even just calling a nice counselor and just saying, hey, how do you guys work with homeschoolers? What are some of the things that you guys do? Um, and there's also a legal website, HS, I always, yeah, hslda.org. And it's like homeschools, lawyer, something. And they have each state the laws that
Hmm.
you could then work with the school so that you're working with your daughter of like, hey, I understand you want to do some of this just to see if she could do some of the fun classes at school and you bring her back home, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yes. And if that's not an option, like definitely start looking at your option
Hmm.
of really coming in with that the parenting piece with her. And I really don't know. This was a really interesting year in my own homeschool as we did tackle football for the first time and seeing how much time these kids are away from their families. And I am actually shocked more of them aren't failing or depressed because they are up super early. They're in school all day. Football was sometimes 5 hours long, and family time really didn't exist. But because we homeschooled, I got my kid, right? But these other kids didn't. And so I just thought any kid, if they're in one activity at the school, they're really pulled away and they really become focused on the peers and what the peers say and what they think are more important. And then we got the blind leading the blind because they don't have the skills yet to lead those types of things. So, like option one is if you can, of letting her know we're going to do some stuff at the school because I know how important your friends are and some stuff home. If that's not an option of working with her of like if this is something you want, these are things that would be required of you. So, like you were saying, you've put boundaries on friends, right?
Hmm.
So to me, it would even be like as simple as like we just did this with my 8-year-old who wanted a later bedtime. Like these are the things you want. You want to be at school all day. Then these are the things I would expect from you. So maybe it's getting your chores done. Um, and then you'd have to be careful with words like respect or don't disrespect because that is so subjective, right? So it would be like, because you were saying like being a smart aleck and so thinking that's funny because sometimes it is funny.
And sometimes it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So she'll even come home from school telling me about how she's kind of portrays it as being the class clown
Hmm.
almost. And so um later on after the story, I had told my husband that that is that okay? Like, do we what do we do in that situation? Because yes, it is okay to be funny and cut up in school and class, but to also have that boundary of because I've never had complaints. Everybody's always says she is a good kid. So
Yeah. But
yeah.
if I were in your situation with somebody like your son who is more willing, I would just bring him home, right? Like, great, we'll do the things you said you wanted to do. Fantastic, we'll pull you out. But with her, where she's going to maybe give more of a fight, of like, hey, so if you want to stay in school when the new semester starts in January, then these are the things that I would be expecting of you and work with her. So is that certain grades that can she keep up with them? I actually don't care about grades, but that may be something to like, can you do it plus like spending time with your family? And because you are with your friends all day in the school day, that means in the evenings, it's only one friend day a week, something like that where you guys are working together. And then far as disrespect, that's why you can't like use that word. It would have to be like don't call anybody in your family a name, like you stupid idiot, or you know what I mean, like if she's really mad, like I hate this, I hate you, and just so like being very specific with the words of like you do XYZ, then sure you can, we'll re-enroll you the next semester, but maybe it's term by term. So your actions determine whether or not you can go to school because of so much of this attitude that I'm seeing. How does that resonate with you?
Said I did. I've even thought about that as saying, if you can show like that you can manage these responsibilities like you were saying, because she's not able to keep up with her responsibilities being in school anymore. And so I have thought about that. The only thing with that is when she pulling her like back and forth from a public school to a homeschool, because they don't have to accept your credits back. And so then she might would have to repeat certain things in school.
Um, the only thing I have to say with that, like, is it doesn't matter to ninth grade. Actually, it doesn't ever really matter, right? But like to get a high school diploma, nothing counts until ninth grade.
Right.
So are you saying they wouldn't even let her register in a class?
Um, no. So I would worry about that once, because I wouldn't want her to feel like she could just flip flop the whole entire time. So I've always been able to say, well, school is a choice if you ever wanted to go back to school or if you ever wanted to be back at home and do it from home. And then once I had the ninth grader, um, they know that we used to homeschool and that that was the way that I was. And so they had made sure to tell me that, like, hey, make sure we're not going back and forth. That if they're going to be in high school, then leave them in high school. If they're not, then don't, because we cannot accept certain things. We don't have to. And so I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking too far ahead or something with her. Maybe I'm overthinking
Yeah.
it because of where I'm at with him. So,
Yeah. And with her,
yeah,
like she has a couple years,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you can even try like it was so interesting. So, like I was saying, just did this with my 8-year-old. And I know they're different things. But we had said, like, if you want a later bedtime, you have to show that you can do these things. And it was getting up and getting his chores done by a certain time, higher quality work, bathing so many times a day, some really basic stuff. And he was gung ho for a week, like, easy, I got this. Second week, we went out of town a little bit. So we're like, okay, the days we were gone don't count because you weren't doing your chores, right? And so he's like, okay. And then the next week, that third week, it was like, I don't know. Is it really? And it was funny. He went and ripped it off, ripped up the little calendar and said, this is too hard. I will take my early bedtime. Like I am not capable of this. And it was like vacuuming 2 rugs, sweeping a floor. Like they weren't awful things, right? But for him, he was like, you know what? It's not worth it. So just having your daughter seeing like whatever responsibility she's doing, so many family nights. I actually, if I am worried about friends, I have done like these friends can always come to our house, but you can't go with them because friends that are always trying to pull you away from the house, to me, those are a lot of red flags. If they're not comfortable in my own home, then there's a reason why they're not comfortable in my home, right? And that has served me and my children well. But even having so many friend days a week, 2 days a week is a friend day. The rest of the nights are for family time, your own alone time, just to think, to be, if you have any extracurricular activities. But whatever that looks like for you guys, and keeping that up and saying, if this is something that you can do, then I will re-enroll you or keep you going in school in January whenever the new semester is, right? And if not, I'm not going to have drama and I'm not going to nag and I'm not going to remind, but like I will pull you out and I'll keep you out because the school already said I can't do both. So the choice is yours, right? So she still is in charge and gets a choice, but her
Okay.
actions will give her the consequences of those choices.
I like that.
And then if like worst case scenario and she doesn't do anything and you do pull her out and she's mad at you, that's when you have to, as a mom, hold your ground and just like, I'm so sorry that you weren't able to make the choice to stay. But always putting it back on them that like I didn't pull you out because I'm a monster. It was your actions that gave you the choice. And my kids would hate when I would do that. Like, I wish you could go with friends, but you didn't do your chores today. Like, oh, that would have been so fun. And they're like, oh, why do you always make me be accountable for my own choices? Right.
Yes,
But like, it's a hard lesson to learn.
it is. Parenting is fun.
It's exciting,
It
right?
is.
But you just want to be careful with these teenage years that you don't step into over controlling and like, good luck. And now I'm going to nag her every day to do this. You know, I'll pull you out. Don't just put it up on the fridge, put it somewhere where you guys are often,
Mhm.
and she can see right? Like I X'd out all the days, and if you get 90% or more days done of whatever the responsibilities are, treating family with respect, but defining what respect means, doing these types of things, not talking back, but once again, defining what that means for her to do these types of behaviors that you guys would expect from her, then sure, you can handle public school. And if not, I'm bringing you home, baby.
That sounds wonderful. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, and
Thank
so
you.
I would definitely like, if your husband wants to talk to you about it too, like, maybe you guys coming up with some ideas together of, like,
Mhm,
this is what we would expect from her, and then presenting it to her of like, "Hey, we know you like school. This is what we would expect for you to continue to do that. Anything you wanna add or talk about that we added on this list that you think is ridiculous," or whatever that looks like,
mhm.
and then working together, and then you guys just holding the space for her to either excel or fail, and then
Yeah.
just carrying it out, because that will be the trickiest part, is to not nag.
Yes.
And then if ultimately you do pull her out, I do notice in the teenage years, they do need some more peer interaction than just mom with homeschool. So finding a co-op, finding activities, even if like within your own church, or if you're religious, if you extracurriculars in the community, or if the school will let you utilize them, right? Just finding something that, like, my ninth grader has how many things? 3 or 4 different little homeschool classes during the week, and that totally fills his bucket, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah. She will coach littler gymnastics. She loves to do gymnastics, and so she'll help coach the younger ones for gymnastics, and she really enjoys that. So, yes.
hey, any other questions for me?
No, I don't think so.
Hey, thank you so much for taking
Thank
your time to come
you.
on today. Have a good one.
You too.